it was my absolute honor to pitch there. And just to give an example, when all the contestants came to the stage, it felt like a wrestler entering a WWE ring.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Awesoming's podcast, where we highlight people pursuing their definition of, you guessed it, awesome. So buckle up and get ready for some more success story adventures and failures from Kentucky's tech and entrepreneur community. Well, hey everyone, thanks for tuning back into this episode of the Awesoming podcast. I am sitting down, actually I'm out of Lexington today. I'm in the good city of Louisville with my good friend Akil Nair, who was the October 5 Across winner from this year, 2022, with his company Xena Intelligence. And Akil, it's very obvious to say that you walked on that stage in your suit, feeling very confident, dripping in your swag. So man, it was a fun event. Love to hear about your pitch, and just give the folks who are listening today a quick introduction of who you are, maybe some of your background, where you've come from. And I also knew that you moved from somewhere else. I'll let you share that, to Kentucky, and would love to hear a little bit about that story as well.
Yeah, I gotta tell you before we begin, Garrett, I think I've attended a lot of pitch events. I've pitched in quite a few places, in front of hundreds of people in a room. But the experience and the vibe that I felt in Five Across, I have positively not felt anywhere else. It's not just the fact that for the first time in your life, you know that people are really interested in what you have to say. The energy, the vibe of the whole room, it was just unmatched. And it's not something that you can create out of thin air. It requires a lot of effort. It requires a culture that needs continuous work to be done. And I think that's what I felt in Five Across. And it was my absolute honor to pitch there. And just to give an example, when all the contestants came to the stage, it felt like a wrestler entering a WWE ring, where everyone stands up, makes a lot of noise. I'm sure there was confetti, or probably I was too stressed to notice that. But the feeling of a person, it's especially as an entrepreneur, you will not get that anywhere else. And I'm very glad that I was able to be a small part of this experience.
I have never heard anybody once say they felt like it was a WWE wrestling match. So just know, I think I'm going to start the podcast episode with you saying that. That's pretty awesome, Akil. Well, again, it was a great event, and I know that you even came up from Louisville, or came over from Louisville to be more correct, with Roland of C2 Keep. So it's cool that even the entrepreneurs that, again, we continue to meet, that come into either Five Across or participate in some part of the Kentucky entrepreneurial ecosystem, are building friendships. So that was a really cool thing for me to recognize. But again, we're talking about Five Across, your experience. You highlighted the maybe the epicness of the atmosphere. Well, let's again talk about why you were even pitching the other day. So you are an entrepreneur. You have a company, Xena Intelligence. Can you share what the heck your company is, or what problem it solves for the people who were not at that event?
Sure. So our software is pretty simple. It helps e-commerce brands grow on platforms, primarily Amazon and Walmart. So what it does is it automates the process of running ads specifically on these platforms. If you're an e-commerce brand, or if you have ever known a brand, you would know that the biggest challenge of growing on these platforms is that it's extremely competitive, time consuming, and the amount of data that is thrown at you is just insane. So you really need some help in kind of managing the entire process. So a software kind of plugs in to your Amazon account and starts running the ads almost immediately. So it has a lot of effects. Obviously, it helps increase the sales, it reduces the ad spend. But I think more importantly, it gives the business owner, especially small businesses, peace of mind. They know that they have the best, most powerful software on their side, and they do not have to worry about the fact that they do not have millions of dollars to spend on these ads like the big companies do. I think that's I think the most value add for us.
So I know when we introduced you, we had a trivia question. Again, part of it's to keep the atmosphere fun, but I want to double check that it is pretty close to the truth. How many unique brands are on Amazon? Do you have an idea of that?
It was pretty close to the truth because when the trivia question came up is when I thought for the first time, oh shit, I should be knowing this. And so I Googled it. It's absolutely right. 350 million brands on Amazon. It's just insane.
And that's million with an M. That is
With an M.
crazy.
With an M. I
Oh
mean,
my
it's
goodness.
just, it's so crazy that that is why the whole problem arises because think of it from Amazon's point of view, right? You have 350 million brands. How can we squeeze more money out of the current situation? Sure, we can take a cut of every sale, yeah, whatever. But wouldn't it be great if we can ask these brands to pay up a little bit more money so that their products can come on top? And there's 350 million brands, there's no shortage for it. And from Amazon's point of view, it's pure profit. They are making money hand over fist. If you search for any product on Amazon, more than half of it is paid for, which means that they are last year, I think they made 40 billion. This year, they are set to make more than triple that amount in ads. So I have a feeling it's not going to go back down.
One of the things that I believe you shared in the pitch was about, and you might have said this, and I missed. If I missed it, apologies. You said what was it like 10 to 15% of new Amazon sellers, they don't, or sorry, only 10 to 15% are profitable within the first handful of years of either owning their own shop or being a reseller. So that's very on par with a traditional entrepreneur. The statistic is what 75 to 90% fail within the first 5 years. And again, if you're competing with millions of other products or companies, it's just wild that you're able to find this pain point. So again, you mentioned a bit that it's some plug and play software that connects with Amazon and Walmart. Did you write this code, or do you have a team that wrote this code? How did this platform come about? Where did the idea come from?
Yeah, so basically, just before the pandemic, I used to be a freelance marketing consultant for a couple of small businesses in Boston. And when on the during the course of my work with them, when the pandemic hit, they lost a lot of their customers. Their partnerships went blank, and so they were pretty desperate to find a revenue stream without which they would have to close shop. And so that's where Amazon, Walmart came into the picture. So I took it upon myself to know everything there is to know, kind so that I can help them out in this journey. During this process, I was able to help them kind of figure out how to onboard products on Amazon, how to run ads, and so on. So I realized that 98% of my time was spent in optimizing or running these ads. And I figured this is not scalable. I mean, I'm glad I'm able to help them, but I'm pretty sure there's a better way to do this. So I realized that Amazon has a platform where developers can build tools easily on top of it. So I took advantage of that situation and built the very basic MVP to automate a lot of the processes. And then I onboarded the specialists who actually know what it's doing to kind of build a more fleshed out software so that instead of 95%, maybe 99% of it can be automated. So that's kind of where the idea came about.
What's so cool, and we can wrap up shortly here in the next couple of minutes. You said as a former consultant, 98% of your time was continuously doing the same stinking thing. So it's cool that you realize, hey, if this can be automated, my time can be spent doing so many other things, or maybe helping people in different manners. So I think that's again, you're solving a problem, and it's definitely one that you experience for yourself. And yeah, just really cool to hear you say such a very specific thing that I don't often hear people say. Yeah, most of my time was doing this one activity. And
And then another interesting story is that so during this early on, I wanted to help my customers. So I reached out to all my currently my competitors to see if they can help out. They have a little bit of software, they have a little bit of thing going on. The first one of the biggest competitors in this space, I spoke to the CEO, and the CEO asked me, "Okay, what is your customer doing? How much sales do they have in a month?" I said they're pretty young. They're doing like $10,000 a month. And I kid you not, he hung up on me that very moment without any follow on, without asking, like, do you have any other customer? Nothing. He just hung up on me. And that kind of made me think. I mean, obviously, I was really upset at how rude he was, but because, over here, especially, everyone has been so nice to me. But I realized that if this is the mindset that they're going with, they are missing out on a huge chunk of the market, which is underserved, who are getting hung up by all the competitors out there. So that's another reason why I started Xena, where I wanted to help these small businesses in any way I can. And if a software is the way to do it, then that definitely is. That's how the name Xena came. So when I was a child, I used to watch Xena, the Warrior Princess. It's a very popular TV show. I love that show. So the whole premise was that, she helps the underserved, she helps the helpless, who everyone neglects. And so that's how Xena came about. I really wanted, in my minimum skill set, to help these small businesses out.
That's great. Well, I hope there's no trademark infraction anywhere. So that's awesome. Well, Akil, the last thing I want to ask, and then I'll end it with my usual follow-up question. So you mentioned earlier that you were from Boston and you were doing business up there. You came down to Kentucky. What the heck went into that move? How'd you end up here? That's always a unique story. Again, I'm not going to speak as much as I can on this, but it's cool when we have transplant entrepreneurs or people that leave and come back to the state. So we'd love to hear your story.
Sure. Yeah, I came to the US to do my MBA in 2018. So that's how I ended up in Boston. I went to a school called Babson College in Boston. I did my MBA over there. Um, and it's just when Xena started, or just when it gained traction, I was able to win the render competition, which is based in Louisville, last year. And one of the recommendations was that the founder needs to move to Louisville for at least a year to avail of the program. I got two other similar offers, similar structuring from two other cities. One was Austin, one was a city in Colorado, I forget what it's called, and one's in Tulsa. Three offers actually. Very similar, almost the same amount of money, almost the same amount of prerequisites. But I chose Louisville, I chose Kentucky above all else, primarily because me and my wife, we visited all these cities, we spoke to the people over there. The feeling that I got from here, the community, the kind of support, the real interest, that a piece of which I saw in Firecross, I did not feel it anywhere else. For them, it's not a transaction, it's not an economical juggernaut, or it's basically they really want
Well,
to build
Akil,
a
again, want to
community around the
say
whole system, and that I
congratulations to
think
what
is
you've
important.
accomplished. So
I
cool
strongly
to
believe
see
you can get
another
money anywhere,
growing
you can get
entrepreneur
talent anywhere
who's a
in
part
this
of the
virtual
Fibercross,
world,
and now you're
but
part of the
this
Awesoming
community, and
community.
to be a part of it,
And
you
most
you
importantly, what I'd
cannot get
say
it anywhere
is
else.
you won the last event for the
That's
year.
awesome.
So we know in just a few short weeks from this exact conversation, there's going to be a chance to win $5,000 cash prize and a $50,000 safe note investment from our partners, Keyhorse Capital. And that's one of the most enjoyable things that we get to do, because we have so many wonderful partners who continue to serve and support entrepreneurs, whether it be the team at Kinetic by Windstream or Airwing Ventures and our partners with Chase. So again, just a lot of people that are spurring on the entrepreneurial community. All that being said, you are competing for the final slot. Well, what are you doing now to prepare to win here in a couple of weeks?
Well, one of the things that I'm doing is, so one of the finalists is a customer of mine. I'm helping them on Amazon. So one thing I'm doing is sabotaging them for sure. Just making sure they do not grow. But then no matter how much I tried, the software is still doing its thing, so I'm not able to succeed in that. They're doing pretty well right now. So I tried to bring others down, but I failed miserably. But other than that, I'm telling you, it's the feeling, just the honor to have 100, 500,000 people looking at you while you present something that you spend your blood and heart and sweat into. It's just unmatched. I'm pretty sure all the finalists and all the startups who present feel that way. It's not so much who wins. It's just wow, how fortunate you have to be there to kind of get this opportunity.
That's awesome. Well, Akil, so excited for, again, what you've accomplished. Looking forward to seeing you here in a few short weeks at the Fibercross Finals. And until then, I'll catch you later.
All right. Thanks, Garrett.
Well, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for checking out this episode of Awesoming's podcast. And another quick thank you to Lee Rosevere and a few members from our community who provide the music that you hear in this show. Lastly, give us a follow on Instagram, Facebook, all that jazz. Or even better, come on down to our space. Come be a part of our community and get plugged in, and let's start something awesome together. You guys rock. We'll see you next time.